Microphone check 1 2 3 4. Hanoi, Vietnam is a place for Group A in the 10th edition of the Suzuki Cup. Here are the lineups for today. Philippines starting with Patrick Dato in goal, Daisuke Sato at left fullback, Rob Gear coming in for the injured. Rob Gear. Rob Gear, okay? Cool, thanks. Good evening to you from Vietnam, whichever part of the world you're watching us from, as Southeast Asia's biggest football fiesta winds down. The final matches of Group A will be played simultaneously tonight, and here at the Medin Stadium, it's Philippines against Vietnam, the home team. Or are they? Because the Filipinos have got an outstanding record in this stadium. They've never lost, and they come into this match after winning their first two matches for the very first time in their Suzuki Cup history. Already through to the semi-finals. Vietnam almost there.
Đề nghị quý vị khán giả đứng dậy làm lễ chào cờ. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem. Quốc ca Philippines, national anthem of Philippines. Quốc ca Việt Nam, national anthem of Vietnam.
En route to qualifying for the last four, the Ascals have already broken new records in this tournament. The first time they scored 4 in the Suzuki Cup, that was in their opening 4-1 win against Laos. And then in their last match, their biggest victory ever in this competition, achieved with a 4-0 thumping of Indonesia. It has been a couple of days for Tom Dooley to decide, but he's decided to keep the momentum going, and because of that, no rest for the weary and no slacking off. They want to win this group for the very first time in their history in order to qualify for their third consecutive semi-finals. Vietnam almost there, and they have a footprint already. Just a draw is needed. Because of that, Coach Mura has decided to recall 4 players from that team that faced Laos: Van Quet, Tan Luong, Xuan Tan and Huang Tin, who started that match against Indonesia in the 2-all draw, returned to the fold, with Lê Công Vinh chasing his very own records. 11 goals in this competition already for Công Vinh, which puts him tied 5th of all time. Well, tied 7th, I should say. One more to put him tied 5th of all time. The substitutes include Mark Quang Hong, who is a goal scorer off the bench too. Philippines, as I said, Tom Dooley's decided to make and put out a very strong team for this match. Just 2 changes to the squad that faced the Indonesians in that thumping 4-0 victory. One of them is an enforced one, as Girardo had to limp off injured in that match. Robert Gear is the captain of this squad, and he is a very capable replacement. Philip Younghusband is chasing records of his own as well. He wants to become the all-time Ascal's top scorer in Suzuki Cup history. 1 more goal to achieve that. And you see the name of Patrick Racheld on the bench for them. Well, he has been, in fact, he's not even on the bench. He's been left out of the squad for this match. Mark Hartman gets another opportunity up front to make sure that he can shine. Vietnam, just a draw is needed in this match, and even a defeat would not be curtained unless there's a blowout victory for Indonesia against Laos in a match that's being played concurrently. Tojo Minoru is the referee, and he'll be assisted down the lines by Bahrain's Ahmad Jaber and Iraq's Loe Subi Adid Al-Alzawi. And he finds himself a compatriot on the bench in Vietnam's coach, Toshia Miura. He is the first ever Japanese coach for Vietnam, just the third Japanese coach to be coaching a team in the Suzuki Cup. And one of those coaches, Japanese coaches, used to coach a Filipino team, Sugao Kambei, way back in 2002. Their coach these days is an American. The first American to coach a team in the Suzuki Cup is Thomas Dooley. Well, hang up your head, Tom Dooley, because you've already achieved so much in this competition. This is Vietnam's half a century, their 50th game in the Suzuki Cup, the 9th meeting between these two teams. I can tell you that Vietnam have got the better record at the head-to-head, 5 wins against the Philippines, 2 with just a single draw between these two sides. But in the Suzuki Cup, they have a losing record against the Filipinos. But straight away, the break is on. Lee Kong Vin, superb sliding challenge that one was that a hack down from the goalkeeper? The referee has decided no. I think he's going to give a yellow card for Lee Kong Vin for diving. He claims he was touched by the goalkeeper, Dato, but the ball that's played over the top just caught the Filipino defense napping for a time being, and it allowed Lee Kong Vin to break clear, but he gets a yellow card for all his troubles. The first shot was well charged down. The second, oh, I tell you what, there was contact there. Dato moves himself away straight away, but there certainly was a little bit of a contact. Lee Kong Vin went down under the challenge, expected a penalty, which he probably take and try to dispatch against the Filipino goalkeeper. And Dato immediately got up because it might have been a red card for him even if the referee had signaled and pointed to the spot. So drama already in the opening minutes of this game, with Lee Kong Vin breaking clear of the Filipinos' defense, which looked very static for that time being, something which was, hasn't been apparent at all in this tournament. Hartman trying to use his physicality to get around. He's got into a mix that time with Misak Bahadaran, who's being played down the right-hand side tonight, with Stubel going down the left. Just a little slight switch in tactics from Tom Dooley in an otherwise unchanged squad. Hartman's touch, it's a very assured one, closed down very quickly by Pham Tan Long. Tries to maintain his composure on the ball. He's such a tricky customer, has got deadly deliveries with that left foot as well. Lee Kong Vin wants the ball played out to him by Van Quet, who settles for the throw. It's a punishing start, this one from Vietnam, and Philippines have to watch. Simone Rota has already got a goal in this tournament. The throw-in taken by Xuan Tan, 29-year-old playing in his first tournament. It's bundled off the ball at time. Hartman's first touch was in a short one. Vietnamese just managed to scramble the ball away and keep possession of it. And once again the break is on with Kong Vin having to hold play up. Not enough support up front. Koe Ngok Hai passed inside to Wei Huang. Not the best of passes from him, from the man who's hit the most passes in this tournament so far and has one of the best pass completion rates. Jerry Lucena has done a splendid job so far, marshalling at midfield and keeping the back line tight, making sure that no players spear right through to try to trouble his fellow defenders. Aguinaldo's one of them, and he brings gear into play, playing in his third Suzuki Cup. Got a goal against Indonesia. Surely here's a free kick called by the referee straight away. Challenge that was just a little too hard by Hartman, and it came on Din Tien Tan. A lot of people feel is the soft link inside this Vietnamese defense and can be had. Well, Vietnam haven't scored a goal against the Philippines in Suzuki Cup in 191 minutes before the start of this match. And it's now 194 minutes going into this game now. 2 defeats the last times these two sides met in the last 2 tournaments. 2-0 this very stadium in 2010. A match which saw an outstanding display by the Filipino goalkeeper Neil Etheridge. Goals by Great Witch and Young Husband, silencing the crowd that night. And then 1-0 in the last tournament. The last Vietnamese to score against the Philippines was Le Huyen Duc way back in 2002. So they've got a losing record against the Philippines in the Suzuki Cup. As I said, the Filipinos have got a love affair of this stadium. They're unbeaten on this ground at the Medan Stadium. They even have a football love affair with this country as well. They scored their first ever Suzuki Cup goal in 1998, playing in Vietnam in a different stadium. And then qualified for the semi-finals for the very first time in 2010 when they played in Vietnam in the group. And this time around, they've achieved their biggest scoreline at 4-0 victory against Indonesia. 8 goals in their opening 2 matches. They are rampant at the moment, to the Arscals. They've scored more goals in this first 2 matches than their previous 3 tournaments combined. Phok Tu comes in strong with a challenge. Kong Vin spins. Does the ball get out to Vu Minh Tuan? The answer is no. Oh, that's a nasty challenge. She came with foot very, very high. Is that going to be a booking as well for Keng Ngọc Hai? Scored Vietnam's first goal of this tournament against Indonesia, an opening match where they were all over the Indonesians. Somehow still managed to come away with a 2-2 draw after some very slack and poor defending. Mistake by Din Tien Tan, and then the goalkeeper Tran Nguyen Man, ensuring that there was only 1 point achieved from that opening game. But no team has won more points from the 3rd round of matches in the Suzuki Cup than Vietnam. They have been stellar. The Philippines themselves have done superbly in the 3rd round of matches. They haven't lost a 3rd round match in the Suzuki Cup since 2002. It's offside. Can't hear the referee's whistle because of the din the crowd has created here. It was very close as well as Vu Minh Tuan broke clear. Just slightly off. See on the far side, the top of your screen, Simone Rota almost didn't keep pace with that line of the defense. And they're playing a very high line at the moment, the Arscals. As Philip Young Husband gets an early touch of the ball. It's so hard to shake off the ball, Philip Young Husband. The shake off the ball, Din Tien Tan did against probably the best player in this tournament after 2 rounds. That's quick feet. That's very good skill by Van Quet. And it's kept them playing in a very nice triangle right now. The shapes are being formed by the Vietnamese at the moment, but it's too tight, that angle there. Snuffed out so very quickly. It's very much part of this football philosophy by the Arscals. Manuel Ott has had a tremendous tournament so far and scored quite a sumptuous goal against Indonesia in the last match, ensuring that the ball is kept moving. It's tentative in the opening minutes here from the Philippines and from Vietnam too, and we expect that. The Philippines have never scored a goal in the opening 15 minutes of the Suzuki Cup, and Vietnam have only scored 3 goals in the opening 15 minutes. The last time they scored a goal in the opening 15 minutes of a Suzuki Cup came in 2002. They almost scored an opening goal when Le Kong Vin broke clear, only to be denied by an outstanding challenge and tackle coming in from Aguinaldo, the youngster. Pham Thanh Long wins another free kick. It's going to be a very busy night for Simone Rota, because when that man runs at you, it's a maze, and he'll lead you and choreograph a dance in which you'll always be falling into it and allowing him to take the lead. And he's got deadly deliveries as well with that left foot. Here's one which he's trying to swing inside the penalty box. The Filipinos have proven to be very good in the air throughout this tournament. The likes of Aguinaldo, Gia and Rota strong in the air. They've allowed the ball to break all the way clear. No one's touched that. Van Quet. Ngọc Hai just hangs it high up in the air. Chance for Thanh Long to attack this. He doesn't. It gives the opportunity for Philippines to clear their lines. Not very far though. Oh, snapped into goal, my goodness! Dato will be looking at himself and he can't believe it, and we've got a goal in the opening 15 minutes. The crowd explode, and it was unbelievable. Ngo Huang Tin gets the credit for it. But Patrick Dato, who had such a magnificent game against Indonesia, pulling off some brave saves, will have to look at himself here and wonder how he allowed that ball to slip underneath him. It looked harmless all the way through. It's always a nightmare for goalkeepers when the balls are bouncing right in front of you that way, but still he had the time to get to ground and make sure that he had the body behind him to cover that. Even Mura did not believe it was going in, and then, oh, shockers. Vietnam get the start they crave in order to get into the next stage, the semi-finals. And they've managed to score against the Philippines. 200 minutes of football without a goal. Put in the graves by that fortuitous strike by Ngo Hoang Tin, who becomes only the third Vietnamese to score a goal against the Philippines. And let's see what the Ascals are made of. They came from a goal behind to beat Laos. And it's a match they don't mind drawing, but they don't want to lose as well because they want control of group. They want to win the group for the very first time in their Suzuki Cup history and ensure that they meet the runners-up of Group B and avoid the possibility of meeting Thailand in the semi-finals, who've looked probably the most promising of those sides in Group B. It's a furious start from Vietnam. And the Filipinos haven't had these waves of attacks thrown out at them in this tournament so far. Philip Younghusband bustling as always. So hard to shake off the ball. And you know what? He comes deep all the time to support his teammate and collect those balls and then start and spearhead another counter-attack. It's always a danger because whenever he comes that deep, someone's going to follow him from centre-back. And that's where the gaps will open the heart of your defense. Anywhere would do by Ngok Khai. Easy pick up that time from Dato. Sato. Lucena. Support coming from Aguinaldo. Decides to go long, looking for the run of Bahodaran. Easily kept by the goalkeeper Tran Nguyen Man, who plays for Song Lam Nang E in the Vietnamese league. Kept 4 clean sheets this season for Song Lam Nang An. Sato wins the header. Goes all the way back to a goalkeeper. And an easy clearance once again from him. Gear clears that one. Yet again, they couldn't find the ball to Younghusband. Simone Rota steps in just at the right time to ensure that clearance was made. Philip Younghusband can't find the ball. The Philippines do keep the ball now with Philip Younghusband. That's a very clever pass, played behind the defense. Anywhere would do as long as it was just facing the attackers. And it favored the attackers then because they were latching onto the ball instead of backtracking. Vietnam on the counter-attack, and they're a team that's built on that. Coach Mura has instilled some very quick passes to ensure that they get up as quickly as possible. Tom Dooley's not happy with the referee's decision. He had to pull the play back. There he is, Mura. That win against Laos made him the first Japanese coach to achieve victory in the Suzuki Cup. He's trying to seize control of a 2 in a row here, given to them by that strike by Ngo Hoang Tin. 1-0 to Vietnam after 13 minutes. Strike coming in the 10th minute of play. Martin Stubel getting the yellow card. He doesn't have a yellow to his name, so it's okay. It's all going to be swiped aside, of course, those cards before the semi-finals. The only Filipino who's in danger of missing the first leg of the semi-finals is Misak Bahodaran, who is on a yellow coming into this game. Van Quet looking for another long surging ball. This time it tries to land on the head of Le Cong Vin. Playing in his 5th Suzuki Cup. Given a real renaissance in his career, much happier place that he is now, Cong Vin, especially with the birth of his daughter last year. Ngok Khai To Convin, Ngok Kai bounces off his captain. Philip Younghusband, another charging run moving forward. Ott, steady as always. Had more touches than any player in that first match against Laos. He's created more chances than anyone else in this tournament as well. Manuel Ott. Dato. The three of these players played in that victory, famous victory here at the Meedin Stadium in 2010, including the man on the ball, Philip Younghusband, who scored, should I say, this is Bahodaran. Philip Younghusband had gone charging into the box. Tackle was a very good one by Xuan Tan. Tan Long, clever to Wei Huang. Vimin Tuan, happy to head it all the way back to King Ngok Kai. One of 7 players in this Vietnamese squad to have played at the Asian Games, King Ngok Kai. A tournament which they reached the round of 16 before being knocked out by the UAE. When Van Quet skipped that tournament, although he played and scored 2 goals in the last SEA Games. These days very much primarily an under-21 event, under-23 event. Here, one of those 3 players aforementioned and played in that 2010 squad. Nothing he could do with the goal, but both him and Aguinaldo's got to watch a little bit more. Here has been found wanting for pace. He's been very rusty because he hasn't played a lot of football lately. Aguinaldo's not the quickest off his feet either, although he was pretty quick in going down and sliding for that challenge to deny the shots by Lê Công Vinh in the opening minutes. And goalkeeper should have denied that effort from Ngo Hoang Tin, which separates these sides. First goal in the tournament for Hoang Tin, who scored in the Asian Games against Iran. Switched it around pretty neatly. Vimin Tuan. Good work by Sato. This looked very cultured, very assured. Just as you say that, he gives the ball away. Lê Công Vinh. Keeper's got to come. He's got to be a little more forceful. He tried. And somehow they scrambled it away. He's gone down injured. Vietnamese still continue to play on. And I think the referee's seen the goalkeeper down. And treatment's got to be given out to the custodian now. Well, a Filipino defense who weren't even threatened one slight bit against Indonesia are all at sea at the moment and finding it hard to clear their lines. And that one, when it popped up for the goalkeeper right here, didn't look too convincing. Couldn't decide whether he wanted to use his knuckles or his fists or his palms, and then once it bounced off him right there, it gave the opportunity for Van Quet to take full advantage of it, and maybe could have even used his head, stooped down and headed the ball right into the back of the net, right about here. If he had attacked the ball right then and headed the ball, that might have gone into the back of the net. Công Vinh will still claim that the goalkeeper shouldn't even have been on the pitch in the first place because he wanted that penalty so very badly after the opening minute. Lucena's given fresh instructions by Tom Dooley. And it'll be clear and simple. Make sure you close down the 2 in midfield and make sure that you cover your central defenders, especially when Van Quet, who loves dropping deep to help out the likes of Hoang Tin and Wei Huang, the 2 central midfielders. He's got all the experience in the world, Tom Dooley. 81 caps for the USA. Captain of the side in the 1998 World Cup. Seeing his goalkeeper at the moment, Patrick Dato, going down to an injury. Well, they've done brilliantly well since their reintroduction, the Ascals, into the Suzuki Cup. They didn't qualify in the 08 tournament, and then Dan Palami and gang decided to make sure that they get the right recruits from all around the world. The scouting system has been superb. Backroom has been in order. And from 2010 onwards, when they were reintroduced into the Suzuki Cup, they've just gone from strength to strength, qualifying for their third semi-final in a row. You talk about their strengths, especially in defense. They achieved their first clean sheets in their 21st game in 2007 against Myanmar. And since then, they played 12 games and kept clean sheets in half of those. 6 of those 12 have been clean sheets for the Philippines. Not going to be the case here. Chasing a deficit. .20 played. Philip Younghusband still not a sniff at goal yet. Starved off service. Having to come very deep in order to get himself involved in those attacks. Hartman tried to keep the ball in play. Should I say that was Younghusband himself? In the first 2 matches, there hasn't been any player close to the quality that Philip Younghusband has shown in this tournament. Gear beats Le Kong Vin to the header. Rob Gear. 2 international goals, both of them scored this year. One in the Philippines Peace Cup, one against the Indonesians. That's a protection that is wanted by Dooley. Good work by Lucena. Having to go all the way back to Sato. Here's Simone Rota. He spent most of his career in Europe, but has come close to the Philippines now and come back to play his football. His home country, now needing to defend it for his country. Kong Vin. It's a clever ball dinked inside to the byline. Outstretched leg ensured that it wasn't hurt, and it was Rob Gear. That's experience for you. Younghusband with a magnetic touch. Couldn't get away from his marker. Still throw to the Philippines. What a pass that one was by Hui Kung. Just when it looked as if he was going to lose the ball, and then he pokes it right behind the defense or onto the byline for Vu Minh Tuan to make something out of it. Ngokai has to watch. The referee's already got his number. A couple of fouls, including one which looked very illegal, but didn't get the yellow card. It goes all the way back to the 33-year-old Rob Gear. Rota. Hartman, look how deep he has come. 2 players up front, totally starved of service. You need to get Manuel Otta on the ball a lot more, because he's the quarterback who can make them play. Not the best of clearances from Kwe Ngokai. Another one of those players, one of 3 players from Songlam Ngean. Tiantan plays for Haiphong in the V-League. He's got a goal this season. It was his mistake against Indonesia when they're just all over the Indonesians on the ascendancy, and all of a sudden, mistake, a header back to his goalkeeper, which never came anywhere close. The Indonesians got the equalizer, and the Vietnamese had to play catch-up all over again. Gear. Now, this is what's needed from the Yaskals now, just to play the ball around a little bit more. Find their rhythm, make sure that they get their momentum going, the passing patterns. Long ball was not necessary, and I think that Simone Rota has just been given a earful from the back line, saying keep it tight, and make sure that we have some sort of tempo going before we hit it long. Hartman's going to battle for you, but he's not going to chase those loose balls against the faster Vietnamese defense. 4-2. Van Quet losing out. Ball played behind once again. The Filipino defense looking for Hartman, different sort of player. He's all muscle as opposed to the length that Rachel offers. Ott dinking it forward, trying to get it going with Bahadaran. It's going to be free kick to Vietnam. Makai once again in the wars. Oh, they come here expecting some sort of revenge against the Filipinos, the Vietnamese crowd. But more importantly, it's qualification to the next stage of the Suzuki Cup. The semi-finals, which they've never missed out on. Only on 2 occasions that they've missed the semi-finals, in 2004 and the last tournament in 2012. Did it last come off Makai? The answer is yes, it's going to be a throw to Philippines. Aguinaldo allowing Gyo to get on the ball. Here is Sato. Not the best of passes by Daisuke Sato. He scored his 2 international goals against Southeast Asian opponents. Philip Younghusband finally has got some space in front of him, some semblance of space, and decides to just shape his angle up for the shot. Well, he's had the most shots at goal, 13 before the start of this match. Count that one out as the 14th. Sometimes as a striker, that's all you need. You just need to pull the trigger at least once. Get it out of your way. Then the confidence hopefully might ensue after that. Brave header, won by the Ascals. They lose it in midfield yet again. Break is on. Trying to get it behind the defense for Le Kong Vin. Oh, very unsure defending yet again. Patrick Dato took a lifetime to come out for that ball. Simone Rota did not want to take the chance and decided to toe poke it away. Hartmann. Stubel. Yet again trying to drop it on a 6 pins. They find it hard to do, especially on this pitch. It's a man who plays as a defensive midfielder for his MSL side of the USA Sporting Kansas. Deployed down the flanks of this tournament by Tom Dooley. Untroubled so far is Tran Nguyen Man of Vietnam, leading by a goal to 0. Magnificent cushion that time. Beanbag of a right foot that he had, Vu Minh Tuan. Xuan Tan getting the ball back from Tan Luong. Oh, it's a poor ball from Tan Luong. Uncharacteristic mistake from him. Hartmann. Just took a little too long to release that pass. Manuel Otts got possession of the ball. You know that he can create. Sato, that's a much better ball that's played inside. Oh, it's a little mix-up there between Hartmann and Younghusband. But it's still on and alive. Stubel blasting it straight into Phuoc Thu. It's gone out of play, and it's going to be a corner to the Philippines. Well, there's a slight communication between Philip Younghusband and Mark Hartmann, because both were latching on to a delightful clip into the box by Daisuke Sato. All it needed was one of them to leave it. Especially Younghusband, and Hartmann might have been honing in on goal. Well, he's got a chance to use his good height to good use now. Manuel Ott takes this corner. They had the equalizer from Ott's delivery from a corner to the head of Rota against Laos. They need an equalizer here against Vietnam. Strange enough, he decides to go all the way back to Hartmann. For some reason, he's drifted outside of the penalty box. And Hall Peters away. That's as strange a play as you'll get. Because they have the height advantage, the Filipinos, and they didn't take full advantage of it. Van Quet. Kong Vin, he's got to watch. He's got to watch. He's already on a yellow card. He wants a penalty. That one definitely wasn't a penalty. It was going away from him. And I think Mura, the coach, is telling him as well, get up on your feet. Don't go down that easily. I know that the defenders will try to bully you because of who you are. But the referee's already booked him for diving. And if he's got to book him for diving in the opening minutes, that should have been a second yellow card because he went down just as easily in that situation. Flipped into space. Gear now goes down. It wasn't Gear. I think it's Lucena. Van Quet it is. Was just hustling for that ball. He's already got 3 international goals this year against Malaysia, Bahrain, and against the Palestine. Well, his jersey was definitely held and tugged, and that's what Miro is complaining about. I think the referee came from the point of view that, well, the jersey was tugged, he might not have gotten to the ball anyway. The referee had the same slow motion cameras that we have right here in the studios. He might have called that in retrospect. Past the half-hour mark. Shantan having to defend now. The 29-year-old plays for Tan Hoa. He's going to be playing for Beckham X Bindong next season, the V-League champions of 2014. Simone Rota caught in a real miscalm with his fellow defenders earlier on. Goalkeeper taking a long time. It's almost as if he needed to open the letter of the invitation card before he came storming out to collect the ball. Did the right thing as a defender, take no chances, tow it away. Shantan wins it. Tan Wong outside of the boots. That is delightful. Kong Vin. All the way back to the goalkeeper, Tran Nguyen Man. He's just had to feel these kicks. The opening half hour of this game. Not troubled at all. Can be very fallible. And he made a mistake that was much worse than what Dato made earlier on, giving away the equalizer against Indonesia for 2-all. Backpedaling, Din Tien Tan. Not very often that you've said that about the Vietnamese defense tonight. Bao Daran tried to get himself out of that very tight situation, failed to do so. Wu Hong. Brilliant pass, first time to Tan Long. That touch through to take it down just as magnetic. Le Kong Vin is offside. Easiest decision that the assistant referees had to make tonight. Rota, Philip Younghusband. It was a good return ball by Hartman. Banquet, silky smooth feet. I can tell you that Indonesia are leading Laos by 2-1. Kamfeng Sayavuti scoring for Laos after Dimas and Leselahu had given Indonesia the lead. And for the second match in a row, Indonesia are reduced to 10 men as Nasser has been sent off. Sato, miscontrol, 20-year-old, nothing coming out of it. Huang puts the ball away. Hartman, it's a much more confident touch by the striker-in-chief. Hartman, interesting ball. Yet again, the box-to-box player was Manuel Ott. Get right at the end of it. If that had been hit with the outside of the boot and swerve, and the spin of the ball would have just cut up on the grass and sit up for him. Free kick to the Philippines, who've been under the cosh in this match against a Vietnamese side who desperately need a victory. They wanted to win the group and avoid their nemesis Thailand in the semi-finals. Here. Another very good pass from the left foot of Sato. Tries to get at the end of it. High, sliding in at the right time. Bahadaran. Great clearance that time by Tien Tan. Banquet, superb turn from him. Oh, the outstretched leg, it was so important from Aguinaldo. But the ball is still with Vietnam. Hong Vin. Banquet, player free on the outside, decides to go for goal all by himself. Vu Minh Tan was screaming for the ball, almost wanting him to release it or even let the ball roll through his legs to get to the right winger. Look at the space he had here, the bottom of your screen right here. If that ball had been released to him, because three had converged down on Nguyen Van Quet, if he had released the ball to Vu Minh Tan, he would have been in acres of space, and even if had time to light it up before scorching it. By Philip Younghusband. He's been chased around, and every time he's on the ball, at least 2 or 3 Vietnamese shirts are just around him, making sure that he's got no time to decide. Tom Dooley will have to decide at halftime whether he needs extra men in midfield to give that extra support to Philip Younghusband. Maybe his brother James Younghusband to be brought on, playing down the flanks. And Stubel to be brought on to support this defensive mid. Gear back to Dato. The sound of the crowd sometimes can just put you off. You got that bouncing ball right in front of you. Oh, lovely work by Dato. Lushena. Ott. Stubel back to Ott. Rota. Stubel. Yet again trying to clip it inside the penalty box, but there was only one Askal inside there, and that was Philip Younghusband. Vietnam break clear. Passes have been crisp. Very pretty to watch. It wasn't a pretty tackle, but it needed. It's offside though. He didn't get involved with play. Van Quet. Vu Minh Tan and have had a clear run at goal towards the byline. Storming tackle by Rob Gear. It needed to be, and he had to time it perfectly right. Otherwise, a booking was on the cards. Rota. Luchena. Here is Rob Gear, and here is Sato. 3 goals for his club side this season, Sato, Global FC. Din Tuan took the chance to take that extra touch. Mokai clears it. Philippines will be happy that they're ruling the roost at the moment in midfield. It's just the ball, the penetrated pass, not finding its intended target so far. Stubel. Rota. Another cross easily dealt with by the Vietnamese defense. This time they had bodies in the box as well. Hong Vin. Clever by Wee Hong to rush though that pass. Aguinaldo will clear it easily. The boy who's born in Davao City. Given a real baptism of fire in their opening match against Laos. A couple of mistakes, but he's slowly settled into his role. He's the partner behind the experienced defender, which was Giraldo at the start of the tournament, and now it's Gear after Giraldo looked to have snapped a hamstring the last match against Indonesia. Heading into the final 5 minutes of this tie. Still 1-0 to Vietnam, and the longer it stays this way, Filipinos will be happy with it because they haven't played their best football yet from what we've seen in this tournament. They're only just a goal behind. Sato, anywhere would do by Aguinaldo. So to Lucena. Mokai judged the bounce perfectly. Lovely work by Banquet. Kongbin. Brilliant play, burst of speed by Le Kongbin. Final pass though let him down. Did everything right. And maybe there was a sneaky little thought and an evil voice inside of his head that says, take a shot. You're on fire anyway. Sato. Daran didn't like the velocity of that pass from Sato. All he did was try to keep the ball in play. Tan Long, we haven't seen much of him since the opening 15 minutes. Kongbin trying to lay it off to the left winger, failed to do so. Two of them, of course, from the 2008 side that won the Suzuki Cup, the only time that Vietnam have lifted this tournament. One of three in the team, the starting 11 to have played in that tournament: Le Phuoc Tu, Phan Thanh Luong and Le Kongbin. Rota. Aguinaldo has really been in the wars. He's been in a football match. Anyone who's marked Le Kongbin in this tournament will tell you that. Mokai. Kept alive by Lucena. Just toe poked in front of him. Needlessly just given away. Thanh Luong. Didn't have time with the ball. He wasn't told as well. Weekong got away with murder. Gu Minh Tuan. Ball pass from him for Banquet. Easily picked up by Sato. Lucena. Ott. Just drawn across in midfield at the moment. Both those central midfielders together side by side, which leaves a gaping hole if the Vietnamese can take advantage of it. The goal scorer Hong Tin with a poor pass. Rota has had to cover the space vacated by his two central midfielders. They're back in position now with Lucena on the ball. Ott. No way forward. Gear. Aguinaldo. Stubel all the way back to Simone Rota. Gear. Trying to take it patient now, the Filipinos, trying to draw the Japanese, the Vietnamese, I should say, coached by a Japanese, out of their shells in order to create some space, especially for the off-the-ball running of Philip Young-husband. Hartmann, yet again, having to come very deep to collect. He was hoping that his run would create a little gap in defense, drawing Phuoc Tu out. Sato, very nimble with his feet. Aguinaldo. Vietnamese crowd getting a little impatient, but the players won't mind this as long as the football is being played inside the Filipino half. Hartmann can't keep the ball in play. So all that momentum building and all the passing, it's just gone to waste. A minute to go to half-time. this is the goal that separates these two sides. Huge error from the goalkeeper. Couldn't get his body behind that. Rota hangs it up. I think it came off the hand of Bahodaran. He's on a yellow card, so wouldn't want to handle it intentionally. Get himself an unnecessary second yellow, which will cause him to miss the semi-final, of which Philippines are there. But at the moment, if the scores remain this way, they will go into the first semi-final as runners-up of Group A. Two added minutes, a lot of it to treatment given to goalkeeper Patrick Dato. And stumbling down, trying to clumsily just claw across away. Free kick for the Philippines. Let's see them take advantage of this now. They had a dead ball situation earlier on with a corner which was uncharacteristically and very strangely hit way outside of the box by Manuel Ott. He's come up to this ball, and this suits his right foot, curled towards goal. And he knows his defense is very shaky and very vulnerable to all these balls hung up in the air and players attacking it. They've got Rota there. Lucena is also in the mix, so to Aguinaldo. Rob Gear is up there as well. Manuel Ott, the man who's delivered two very piercing corners in this competition already, which has resulted in a couple of goals for them. This time too close to the goalkeeper, took no chances, and his punch fortuitously has fallen right onto the feet of Tan Long. Space opening up for Van Quet. First touch though, it's a little too hard and heavy, giving Sato enough time to slide it away and avert the danger. Tan Long, Van Quet. Tan Long. Kong Vin is inside the box, so too was Gear. Twice already he's had these timely interceptions inside the 6-yard box, culling any threat from the Vietnamese. Shantan couldn't keep the ball in play. Both these sides with stellar records this year in their international matches. Vietnam will go into the break, a goal up, a goal that was scored in the opening 15 minutes of this match. The Philippines trying to find their way back into it, but it's a little crowded in the center of midfield, and the Vietnamese backline have held their lines firmly enough and have been disciplined enough to fight off and starve off those Filipino balls that have been dropped behind it. Ngo Hoang Tin, the difference between these two sides, his shots just squirming under the body of Patrick Dato. And the home side lead by a 1-0 at half-time. Welcome back to Hanoi here at the Midin Stadium, and Vietnam have done in the first 10 minutes what they failed to do in their last two matches against the Philippines. That is to score a goal. And that goal came from Ngo Hoang Tin. That is good news for them, of course, because they are stellar when scoring the first goal, the opening goal of the match. Paul Mulders, who's already got a goal in his Suzuki Cup career, takes the place of Mark Hartman. So, as we expected, there'll be a little more power coming from the midfield. Mulders is very much more of an attacking midfielder than a striker-in-chief, the way that Hartman is. So, he will be providing a lot more moving forward and driving forward from that midfield zone to support Philip Younghusband, who will now be the out-and-out striker for the Ascals. Well, every time Vietnam take the lead in a football match in the Suzuki Cup, they've never lost. The last 26 occasions, they won 22 of those and drawn 4. The good news for Philippines is that they haven't won 2 of their last 3 when taking the lead. So that's the optimistic view if you're an Ascal supporter. And also, Vietnam have never kept a clean sheet against the Philippines in the Suzuki Cup. Second half, the Ascals need to get right back into this. Will Mulders provide all the strength up front and be that driving force from central midfield and give Philip Younghusband the support that was sorely lacking in the first half for their top scorer in this tournament? Both him and Lê Công Vinh chasing a goal-a-game record, both with 2 goals in this tournament already. The joint top scorers. A mistake there by Aguinaldo. Lê Công Vinh trying to be the outright top scorer of the tournament, latching on and just heading towards goal and driving towards the goalkeeper. Had a one-on-one break early on in the first half, of course, in which he felt he was fouled by the keeper, instead just to be booked by the referee for diving in the penalty box. More needed from Stubel coming down this side. Rota, who had more touches than any other Filipino player in a match against Indonesia. It showed that they really focused their attacks down the right-hand side against the Indonesians, who had no answer to the power play of the Ascals in that match. There was such a force and a fluency moving forward. Manuel Otto was at the center of everything creative for them that night. Mulders trying to get involved immediately. Philip Younghusband just behind him. Mulders just forces a throw out of Le Phoc Tu. He's playing in his 4th Suzuki Cup. Phoc Tu happy to just clear it right out. Công Vinh's touch was a superb one. Tan Long getting the run around against Mulders. He wants the free kick, and I think the referee's going to give it. Yellow card as well to Rota. Not one of those players serving a yellow, so he'll be okay for the semi-finals. Well, he had an easy outing against the Laotians and the Indonesians, who caused no trouble at all to the Filipino who was adopted by Italian parents. But tonight, Van Tan Rong's a different opposition altogether. They need to watch. They need to keep very close watch for this. Last time they conceded 2 in the Suzuki Cup was a 2-1 defeat to Thailand in the opening match of the last edition. In 2010, they never conceded 2 in a game, and they're not going to, especially the free kick as poor as that's from Vu Minh Tuan. Probably given fresh instructions from the coaches. We confirmed the yellow card to Simone Rota on the right-hand side for the Philippines. Remember, they are unbeaten in the Midin Stadium. Three in a row, they've qualified for the semi-finals. Football on the ascendancy. It has been Kale Azul, streets of blue in the Philippines since 2010. rise and rise of the Ascals. You'll know it as well when the home supporters start cheering the opposition teams whenever you play a so-called neutral match against them. It's just a very bridled way of showing respect for you as a fearsome opponent. Rota had to be really assured with his back pass to Dato. Not the best of clearances from the goalkeeper. It's more of a safety first, but it almost landed onto the chest of Van Tan Long. I remember in 2010 when they played Singapore at this very same stadium, Vietnamese supporters went absolutely nuts when Chris Greatwich scored a very last-minute goal. These days, how different it is. They were cheering on the Laotians. They faced them in the opening match because they're not considered one of those whipping boys of this competition anymore. Oh, what a touch. That one is for Blumenthal. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. 2-0. All brought about by a magnetic first touch. And a finish that gets the roof off. Careful Meaden Stadium. It might not be strong enough to hold the vociferous support here because the noise is deafening. The man who got things going and scored against Laos has scored the second against the Philippines. It was just a real up and under ball from the first goal scorer Huang Tin, but his first touch, moving away from Sato, was a peach. Had the option to square it down for Lee Kong Vin. I think the Filipino defenders were also keeping a close watch on the number 9. But how about that for a searing finish? No chance for the goalkeeper, no faults this time around. He wasn't beaten at the near post. It's just the sheer power of that strike. And once again, they've struck early in the half. 6 minutes of the second half. 2-0 up. Huge ask now for the Ascals to chase. And they give the ball away due to some superb pressure once again by the Vietnamese players. They've ruled the midfield. Outside of the boots, brilliant pass to Kong Vin. Tracked down brilliantly by Aguinaldo. There's no embarrassment in the way that he's tracked down Lee Kong Vin tonight. True, the Vietnamese striker has got a couple of opportunities, but Aguinaldo has done his job and has quite a splendid game so far against the Vietnamese captain. Tan Long wins another free kick. He's the man who's slowly growing into this in the second 45 minutes, creating all sorts of problems. Down the left-hand side, got Rota booked already, wins another free kick. The last one was wasted by Vu Minh Tuan, but how he made up for it with that control and finish. Watch by Rota. It's just a wild strike at the ball from Huang Tin, who wants the free kick from the referee. Claimed that he was swiped at while he was taking his own swipe at the ball. Here. Aguinaldo. Another clever turn by young husband. Just chasing loose ends though in this match so far. Fok Tu using all his experience in the world and then seeing the ball given away by his left fullback Xuan Tan. Malders trying to make space for himself. Failed in his attempts. There was Stubel actually. Here wanted the goalkeeper to come, and he wants him to come the second time, and I think he's going to give him a real mouthful now. Sato got away with it. It's yet again the Vietnamese, such high pressure they played. Sato did well enough to win the ball back. Ott. Stubel. Young husband's in an offside position. Malders runs after this. Didn't get it to stick though. That's going to be a free kick. Too tough on the back of Min Tan by Sato. Was really sent to schooling with that touch from Min Tuan. Did everything right in defending the penalty box, taking him as far wide as possible, but he didn't expect the Vietnamese just take it in his stride the way he did. That's a quality goal. Wong Tin. Long searching ball, looking for Min Tuan yet again. This time easy for Sato, who tries to calm his fellow defenders down a little bit. As Aguinaldo switches the focus of play, only to find a Vietnamese head in Hoc Hai. Once again, the second balls have all been won by a team, the players in red. Hong Bin has broken the offside trap. Min Tuan trying to squeeze his run right through. Xuan Tan. Tan Wong. Van Quet. Scored a goal in the last Suzuki Cup, Van Quet against Thailand. Hasn't broken his duck yet in this tournament. He's one of 8 players who've played in more than one Suzuki Cup in this Vietnamese side. The Filipinos have got more than 9 players who played in more than one Suzuki Cup, including this man on the ball, Manuel Ott. Lucena. Towards goal, predictable, trying to drop it behind the Vietnamese defense, but they've cleared it. They've done their homework. Coach Miura just noticed the way that the Filipinos have played in the opening matches. Realize that that's usually what they do, try to get it in behind the defense for the pace of Philip Young Husband, the verve of their wingers. That time Bahodaran couldn't control the ball. It's gone out for a throw to Vietnam as it last came off his boot. 12 minutes gone. Tom Dooley, who took over a German, Michael Weiss. Last campaign. There's only one Filipino coach who's managed to take the Philippines into 2 campaigns of the Suzuki Cup. That was Jose Ariston Kazlip. Work by Van Quet. Tan Long! Van Tan Long scores his first goal in the Suzuki Cup since 2008. And it was a screamer. Just the 5th Vietnamese to score against the Philippines. And whatever a winger on the opposite side could do, he could almost match. One needed a splendid touch to get away. The other one decided to go for a belter from the moment he received the ball. Dato might look at himself and think that he was at fault because he totally misjudged the flight of the ball, and this time he was beaten at his near post. But that was hit with so much speed and power. and it was matched by the celebration from his coach Toshiya Miura. Up and running Vietnam. Oh, it's a chance for Philippines to get right back, and they have! Paul Mulders scoring in his second consecutive Suzuki Cup, and they're right back in it. Once again, Vietnam can't keep a clean sheet against the Philippines, and Paul Mulders has given them a glimmer of hope. Not much joy from the Ascals, all professional, all trying to get the ball right back into the center circle, get the restart and get the equalizing goal as soon as possible. It's now a 2-goal deficit, but at least they've got one right back, and it's given them hope. Miura can't believe it. Almost a minute after they'd scored their third, Philippines come right back, and Vietnam failed to defend the near post. Paul Mulders, the substitute, an inspired substitution, gets them right back in it. This time it's duly subdued, but knowing that the comeback trail might be on. Fork 2, space opening up for Quang Vinh. Oh, we have a football match here. Lê Quang Vinh. Once again, Dato didn't look too convincing getting down for that ball. He took a lifetime before he got down to it. I think it was just the scars from conceding that opening goal that he needed to judge the ball and the bounce of the pitch. Ott Rota. Young husband. Throw into the Ascals. Philip Young husband. Tan Luong lost possession, decided to go hunting for it, only to give away the throw past the hour mark. Young husband trying to chase this one down. Didn't get the referee's decision yet again. He might be down the flanks, but 2 players committed to Philip Young husband. That's a respect that he's commanded in this tournament. Tom Dooley, who himself was under a German, Jürgen Klinsmann, for the USA football team, and I'm sure he's learned a lot from the shrewd tactician from Germany. Assistant coach in 2011, Dooley is. And here he is in charge of the Philippines. Trying to take charge of a comeback, an extraordinary one if they manage to pull this off. Quang Vinh. Great cushion from him. Just couldn't sort his feet out. Stubel. Still Stubel, brushing aside his opponents easily. Martin Strubel. Solid defending by Xuan Tan. Not just the tackle, but then to shield and turn away from his opponent. Huy Hung to Minh Tan. Huy Hung. Quang Tin. Pham Thanh Luong. 4th Suzuki Cup now, Pham Thanh Luong. Had the most crosses in this tournament before this game. 16 of them. Haven't seen much of him. Just lighting up the wings and sending those crosses in this match. But he scored a wonder goal. Huy Hung. Huy Hung. Crowd got up on their feet, but it was side netting off the stanchion. Nguyen Huy Hung can't add to the 1 goal that he scored against Laos. Paul Mulders, by the way, just peeling off his markers and trying to get right up there so that Philip Young husband can be roaming around and creating all the danger like a real shark that he is, sniffing blood in front of the Filipino backline. They've made a mistake though. Lucena giving the ball away. It's just dinged. Try to match the run of Quang Vinh. Van Quet though with too much meat behind that pass. Shayna. Rob Gear. Gear once again. Long searching ball. Can't match the run though. It's kept in play by Ngok Kai. Into space. Tan Long says, I got this covered. I'm going to take charge. He's not. Stubel. Lucena, Stubel. Oh, it's a 50-50 ball for Rota. And it's just towed all the way back to goalkeeper Dato. Philippines haven't conceded 3 goals in a game since 2007 when they lost 4-0 to Thailand. Here, they're trying to stage a comeback, just sniffed out by the goalkeeper, Tran Nguyen Man. Well, we're going into the zone now where both these two teams just love scoring their goals. Last half an hour of the game. 47% of Vietnamese goals in the Suzuki Cup have come in the last 30 minutes of a football match. And for the Philippines, 51% of their goals, of their total goals in the Suzuki Cup, have been scored in the final quadrant, in the final 15 minutes. So we're approaching Askal's territory. Daran allowing the ball to bounce, defeated by it. Jump by Din. Shantan to Wong Tin. Got things rolling with that opening goal. Kong Vin. Tan Luong scored the pick of the goals tonight with a scorcher from 30 yards. All the way back to the experienced head of Le Phoc Tu. Tian Nan. Cured by Aguinaldo, but it was a real up and under, and he's got to defend this yet again against Kong Vin. A real battle between those two tonight, hasn't it? Odd. Ball played forward so very quickly, but Phoc Tu yet again. Another interception timed to perfection. So it is the time of James' young husband taking the place of Bahodaran. Bahodaran's also on a yellow card, so it's a clever substitution by Tom Dooley. James' young husband himself. He's got all the incision and penetration in the world to run the flanks. He usually loves patrolling down this right-hand side. It would mean that Stubel will go down the left-hand side. Playing in his 4th Suzuki Cup now, James' young husband. Scored 4 goals for his club side this season. Loyola Meralco Sparks, looking for his 11th international goal. Tan Long. allows that to run. Has just been given such a mare this whole evening by Tan Long. Didn't even know that he had no one behind him. Just took no chances with a header. Altus getting it back to Ott. Lost control of the ball. Yet again closing down to be the key of the game for the Vietnamese midfielders, who worked doubly hard in order to support the players up front and the defenders. Stubel is stomped on. If the referee had been in closer proximity, it might have been a yellow card. That was a nasty challenge that was thrown then by Vu Minh Tan. Should be okay. Well, this was for 2-0. Just a ball that was flicked up, hoping that Vu Minh Tan could do something about it. Oh, do something he did. He pulled some magic with that touch to take him away from the defender. And the finish was unnerving as well. Exactly where you should put it, beyond the goalkeeper to his far post. And that, at the moment, is the winning goal. 3-1, Vietnam lead the Philippines going into the final 20 minutes. As I said earlier on, the final 15 minutes are Askal's territory, as Vietnamese supporters have all come tonight to witness their team progressing once again for the 8th time into the semi-finals, and their home side haven't disappointed them. Manuel Ott, perfect deliverer of the ball. Not that time though. It's probably his worst delivery in this tournament so far, but he does well to win it right back, and here come the Philippines. Was always looking for the angle for the shot, Philip Younghusband, and you knew he always wanted it on his right foot to try to open his body up and curl it beyond the goalkeeper. So it was a vigilant play by Ngoc Khai to keep that one out. Sato flung to the ground with a scything challenge from Minh Tuan. They've cramped up this space down here, down the Philippines' left-hand side. It's an unnecessary kick out by Minh Tuan. He's got to watch. If it's a yellow card, that means he'll miss the semi-final. I think it is a yellow card. That's the reason why Ngoc Khai comes up to the referee and pleads his innocence. But Vu Minh Tuan will miss the semi-finals because of that silly, silly challenge. It just takes away the spark of the goal that he scored, the second goal that he scored, 2 in this tournament already. Okay, there's the ball had already gone. Just leave it as it is, but he comes stomping with his studs up on Sato. It's a correct decision by the Japanese official, and it's just subdued the crowd here slightly. So I think they know the consequence of that yellow card. Ott. Disappointing delivery the last time out. What's he going to do with his latest set piece? One more goal and we've got a real battle for the final 15 minutes. Vietnamese goalkeeper has looked shaky throughout this tournament and dealing with those aerial balls. This one's hung right up into the mix. Missed the ball totally. A chance to put it right back in by James Younghusband, and then his brother puts it right back in. Goalkeeper decides to take no chances with a spectacular punch, and Vietnam have an opportunity to break right now. It's almost a 2-on-2 situation. That is such clever defending though. Such brilliant defending that time from Lucena. He knew he was giving up a lot of pace in his 34-year-old legs against Phan Thanh Luong. So he put his body to good use and he shepherded the ball out of the Vietnamese. Thanh Luong will win a free kick this time. But he had that opportunity with a clear run on goal, only for Lucena to just marshal him out and away from the goal and then use his body to perfection. It's been breathless so far. What a game we've had. Vu Minh Tuan, confirmation that he'll miss the semi-finals. At the moment, the semi-finals that they'll be playing against the runner-up in Group B. Identity of the team will be known tomorrow night. Thailand already there. They're most likely to win Group B. So it's left to Singapore, who are on 4 points. Malaysia and Myanmar, both on 1 point and both needing wins in their final match to progress. Ott becoming more influential as the minutes tick by. Onside Maldus. All he could do is just to keep the ball alive. So it was hit behind him. If he had allowed it to run, Ott might have latched onto it because he was just going and squirming his way around the defensive walls of the Vietnamese, who've been so tight this evening. It's been the midfield that's been eye-catching and protecting the defense. Those two in front of the defense, Ngo Hoang Tin and Nguyen Uy Hung. Have done yeoman service. James, young husband, wins one in the air. Paul Maldus keeps it alive. Stubel, Philip, young husband, brotherly love, trying to set something up. Cross is not a bad one, and it's broken clear. Oh! Martin Stubel, eyes lit up. An opportunity to score a second goal of the tournament. Once again, they didn't defend it. Clever running in the penalty box by Paul Maldus to peel away from his marker and attack the ball. Flung inside, hoisted in by James, young husband. Didn't get a clean, complete connection to it, and it fell so kindly, gleefully almost, for Martin Stubel. His finish was disappointing. Just blazed right over the crossbar. Aguinaldo, as we said earlier on, been in the wars and been everywhere this evening. Look at that again. Clever movement inside the box by Maldus. And that was a chance for Martin Stubel. They wanted a penalty after that. Once you have already taken that effort on goal, the goalkeeper comes clanging onto you, you're not going to get the decision from the referee. Le Kong Vin pleads his innocence. He's on a yellow card, remember. This was the third goal. Just when slammed right across, nothing but wind for Dato. Phan Thanh Luong, third goal in the Suzuki Cup for him. So here we go into Askal's zone. The final 15 minutes. Half of their total goals in this tournament, not this tournament, but their Suzuki Cup history, have been scored in the final 15 minutes. They've scored 26 goals in this competition, and 13 of them have come in the final 15 minutes. No team has a better scoring percentage in the final 15. Nguyen Van Bien takes the place of Phan Thanh Luong, who gets a rapturous reception from the crowd. Van Bien is a more defensive player, so you'll need some protection down the sidelines here against James Young Husband, and Simone Rota will be tasked to bomb forward a lot more now. Minh Tuan. Once again, the noise of the crowd can be so distracting for the goalkeeper dealing with those high crosses. Dato, though, kept an eye on the ball. Are we going to get another goal in these final 15 minutes from the Philippines, who've already got 2 in this competition in that quadrant? Lovely turn that time. Spinning away from his marker, Philip Younghusband. Din Tien Tan sold. Lucky to escape the booking. Tell you that Indonesia are leading Laos by 3 goals to 1 as Philippines look for a second goal to trim the lead to 3-2. So similar scoreline in these 2 Group A matches that are being played concurrently. And both the red teams are in the lead in those 2 games. 10 minutes remaining. Best of passes, picked up though by Phuoc Thu. Hard as Maldus. So tough to get around Phuoc Thu. Ensures that he leaves some space behind him in case you want to bounce off his body. Sato trying to switch the focus of play, and in the latest attack, James Younghusband will keep it in play. Maldus trying to put it around Van Bien for James Younghusband to get onto that one. Not the best of passes by Rota. James Younghusband couldn't do anything about it. Throw in for Nguyen Van Bien. Rota, good touch down the line. Ball held out by Van Bien. It looked as if it was a coming together, so Maldus very unlucky. So get the decision go against him. Well, here comes Mak Hong Kwan taking the place of Lê Công Vinh, who will not score his 12th goal today. That'll be left for the semi-finals, perhaps. 7th on the all-time scoring list. The Vietnamese will forever be in love with Lê Công Vinh, especially with his exploits. And here's a player that a lot of them have thought would take Lê Công Vinh's place once he decides to call it a day. Mak Hong Kwan, who spent his youth in Sparta Prague and was the top scorer in the SEA Games with 3 goals. He's a winger, an attacking midfielder, forward with some clever movement. He tries to go attacking the loose ball already. Indonesia 4-1 up against Laos. So the Laotians will leave this tournament without a single point. It's a case of too little too late for the Garuda boys. Kwan's first touch is a very assured one. All the way out to Quang Tin. Van Quet. Kwan trying to run in behind the defense, but the ball was too flat, easily dealt with by Sato. Not the best of passes though. At time. The Philippines getting a teammate into trouble straight away. Sato. Free kick Vietnam. Seven minutes remaining. Still 1-3 down the Ascals. The Wild Dogs trying to finish as top dogs of Group A. At the moment, it's being foiled. Hong Kwan, clever ball, Van Quet. Some Intelligent running to keep himself onside. Shielding it expertly, ensuring that the ball is kept with Vietnam. It's a free kick. He's won as well. Aguinaldo a little too overzealous in trying to win it back. It's what happens when you're trailing. Armani Aguinaldo done everything that he can in this game to quell this very dangerous Vietnamese side. So quick and crisp with their passing and so clever with their movement up front, and tonight they've shown a different dimension to their game with a closing down in midfield. They give the ball away needlessly. Xuan Tan, the guilty party then. No free kick. They get away with it. Here comes Wang Tin. Both him and Hui Hong definitely candidates for man of the match with their energy that they've shown in midfield. Hong Kwan is broken for Van Quet. First to the ball was Rota. Wang Tin left his energy and his heart right on the Medan Stadium grass. Poor ball, that one played forward by Tien Tan. Kai looked at him accusingly and said, "What was that for?" Rota easily cut out by Van Bien. Not the best of touches from him though. Mulders. Philip Younghusband to Sato. Lucena side by side with him, asking for the ball, gets it. Once again trying to switch it down the flanks for James Younghusband. Here's his brother Philip. Rota onside. Cross easily dealt with, spectacularly cleared by Xuan Tan. Crowd pleaser. The Ascals get to keep the ball. Stubel trying to look for the angle for the cross, needlessly gives the ball away. You could say the same as well of Hui Huang. He's got the best pass completion rate in the Suzuki Cup thus far. Probably going down just a couple of percentages with that stray pass. Daniel Ott once again too enthusiastic in trying to win the ball back. Who can blame him? That's his last piece of action as Chris Greatwich, the man who scored the opening goal and created a goal for Philip Younghusband the last time these two sides met at the Medan Stadium in 2010. Comes on, hoping to make a difference. Five goals this season for his club side, Kaya. Storming tackle, that one was by Aguinaldo. And once again, Vietnam get the ball back. So very quick and tenacious with their tackling, biting into any sort of challenge and any loose ball. It's always been them picking it up tonight. It's hung up well enough. Oh, he tried to set himself up for a spectacular overhead kick. Might have been better just to square it and pull it back for a teammate then. Back to goal. Hong Kwan. Oh, wasn't a million miles away. Mak Hong Kwan showing all the confidence in the world of a man who's played this game for the longest time. Can't tell from that turn and curler that it's his first Suzuki Cup appearance. He's certainly one for the future. See it in his displays at the last SEA Games. And he just destroyed teams with his running. The power he possesses up front. Dato putting gear in a lot of danger and pressure with that goal kick. Going into the last minute of this match. No miracles for Philippines in this. But they still head to the semi-finals, the third in a row. And this time their next task will be to score their first goal outside of the knockout stages. Philip Young Husband's ball, just managing to get past Nokai. Great pitch though. Stubel, I should say, didn't take advantage of that. Don't worry, Tom Dooley. Whatever they've set you out to be, KPIs before the start of the tournament, you've already achieved the first step. Goalkeepers come out and scramble. Ball is loose, cleared by Vietnam. They pick up this loose ball again. Well, slowed down because there was an offside flag. Miura couldn't believe it because it came up very late. Or is there a player down injured? Simone Rota is walking gingerly, which is not good news. And Nguyen Tan Hien is ready to take the place of Vu Minh Tuan. Perhaps giving him some game time to get himself primed for the semi-final, since Minh Tuan's gonna miss it. Four minutes of added time. Vu Minh Tuan's goal, the second of this match, now looks to be the winner in 4. Appreciated by the crowd, but he'll know, and he'll be kicking himself and feeling sick in the stomach for missing the first leg of the semi-finals. At the rate they're going, they'll top the group, so the second leg will be played right here, and he'll return for that. I can tell you that Indonesia have won against Laos by 5 goals to 1. Vietnam, and that man again, Ngo Hoang Tin, has just destroyed everything and anything creative that the Philippines have tried to do. The heart of the midfield. Offside. Stubel. And they're still hungry for more goals, the Vietnamese. Hong Kwan. Xuan Tan. Van Quet. Not far away yet again was Hui Hung. Two central midfielders have been so heavily involved. There he is again, Hui Hung. Oh, what a clever ball. Dinked into space. Van Bien wanted to go backwards, but Maldus is there to ensure that he's questioned before he releases the pass to the goalkeeper. Tien Tan chased down by Stubel. Well won back by the Philippines. Rota. Turn was pretty good by Philip Young Husband, pass one but not the other, and he'll have to wait for the semi-finals as well to score that one goal, which will make him the outright top scorer for the Ascals in Suzuki Cup history. Sato. Greatwich trying to peel away, run into those channels, exploiting the gaps made by the clever runs of Philip Young Husband and Paul Maldus, and trying to bring the central defenders forward. Maldus, Rota. James Young Husband wants the ball, he gets it. Young Husband, it should be the goalkeepers. He's just hoisted up and spending way too much hang time, giving the goalkeeper enough to judge it and claim. Anywhere would do with the clearance from Van Bien. Good work once again, Aguinaldo. Probably the standout performer in the Filipino squad tonight. Vietnam qualify for the semi-finals for the 8th time in the Suzuki Cup. They beat the Philippines, they won this match, and they won the group. Paul Mulder's goal, a mere consolation after an early strike by Ngo Huang Tin. Squirmed under the goalkeeper Patrick Dato. No question marks about the second and third goals though. The second one, Fu Min Tuan took a quite sublime touch to get away from his marker before planting it past the keeper. And the third was a scorcher from 30 yards out by Phan Tan Long, who scores his first Suzuki Cup goal in 6 years. Vietnam 3-1 victors. They win Group A. They will meet the runners-up of Group B, while Philippines are in the semi-finals for the 3rd consecutive time, and they'll face the champions of Group B, which looks most likely to be Thailand.
Xe màu đã phỏng vấn được chưa? Xe màu bảo là mấy ba về phỏng vấn đấy. Ok. Từ từ đã nhá. Chúc mừng nhá. Bây giờ anh nhá, dừng giữa cho anh, dừng giữa cho.